Welcome to the series where I test out money-making methods from the OSRS Wiki. Feel free to leave suggestions on which moneymaker you'd like to see next. And also, if you didn't already know, I have a nice playlist that I've created that has all of the previous moneymakers that I've already tried, so go ahead and check it out if you haven't already. With that being said, let's get into the video. So for today's video, we will be killing Gargoyles, which is a pretty AFK moneymaker that was suggested quite some time ago, so let's go ahead and knock it out. Now, the last time that I actually killed Gargoyles was back when I was still training my Slayer, and back then I would basically go there with full Bandos and the Abyssal Bludgeon, but for this video I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm going to be using gear that is cheaper and basically allows us to stay there for a lot longer and AFK. Now, you will be needing 75 Slayer to even attack these monsters, and it might be helpful if you have the Auto Smasher upgrade that you get from the Slayer Masters. Now, normally when you get a Gargoyle down to low HP, you have to click on your Rock Hammer and then click on the Gargoyle to finish it off, but with this ability it'll just automatically do that for you. You will also need to have completed the quest Priest in Peril, so make sure you have that done before attempting this moneymaker. With those requirements being out of the way, we can now get into the gear setup that I used for this video. Now, I decided to use Guthans because with this set, we don't need to bring any food. We can just rely off of the passive effect of Guthans to heal us while we are fighting the Gargoyles. I also opted to bring some other items that weren't too expensive, so instead of Primordial Boots, I brought some Dragon Boots. For the Amulet slot, I brought a Amulet of Fury. The reason it looks that way is because it has the ornament kit on it, but if you don't have enough for a Fury, you can also bring a Glory. That'll work just as well. We are also bringing our Barrow's Gloves, and we are also bringing a Slayer Helmet to get past some Aberrant Spectres on the way to the Gargoyle room. Now, if you don't have a Slayer Helmet, you can bring a Nose Peg. That'll work just fine. I was also debating whether I should bring Super Combat Potions for this, but instead I decided to go with the Dragon Battle Axe. We're going to be using the special attack to boost our strength up to 118, and we'll be using the very cheap Restore Potions to restore the stats that we lost due to the spec. Now, as for getting there, I will be using a Slayer Ring to teleport to the Slayer Tower, and from here we can run north to this shortcut. I do believe you need 61 agility to use it, so if you don't have that, you'll have to go the long way around. But if you do, you can just hop up here and then activate Protect from Magic so that you don't take any damage from these Aberrant Spectres. Make sure your Slayer Helmet or Nose Peg is on, or you will take damage and you will get your stats reduced by a lot. Now, once you come up these stairs, you just run to the east, and here is the room full of Gargoyles. Right there in the middle where I'm standing is where you actually fight the Gargoyle boss, so maybe for a future video we'll tackle that. Make sure your attack options is set to the Crush option since the Gargoyles are weak to Crush, and make sure your Auto Retaliate is on so that you can just AFK here. And that is pretty much it. Once you are here, you can just chill and let the Auto Retaliate take over. Of course, every 10 to 15 minutes you will have to reset aggro, but for that we decided not to do that just so I could keep attacking and I wouldn't lose any time running and resetting the aggro. And yeah, there's really not much to this. Every time my strength would reach around below 110, I would use the spec once again. I just tried to make the Restore Potions last, but if you really wanted to, you could just use it every time you get the special attack back to 100% and just bring more Restore Potions, because these Restore Potions are very, very cheap. They're less than 200 GP each, so no problem using those. Now, these Gargoyles do drop a bunch of nice drops. They have a bunch of bars that they drop for smithing, and they also drop Runite Ore and different rune items like the Rune Full Helm, the Rune Battle Axe, and if you get lucky, you can also get a Granite Maul and a Dark Mystic Rope Top. Now, we didn't manage to get a Mystic Rope Top, but we did manage to get a Granite Maul towards the end, so that was pretty nice. One thing that I didn't bring because I didn't really need it for this 1 hour, but if you do plan on staying here for a long time, a gem bag could come in handy since they do drop gems. I believe I got a sapphire and also a emerald later on during this video. Another thing that you can also bring that would probably be even better than the Berserker Ring is the Ring of Wealth so that you can automatically pick up the coins. Since I had the Berserker Ring, yeah, I was doing more damage, but I had to individually pick up all the small coin drops, and that's a pretty common drop from these gargoyles. A lot of the time they'll drop under 1,000 coins each time you kill them, so having that ring will definitely help out if you plan to AFK here for a very long time. Now, this was actually my first time coming up here to fight these gargoyles. The only other time that I've fought gargoyles has been on task, and I used the area that is under this castle. It's in the dungeon area, which is a slayer only place, and that's the only place that I've actually fought these guys at. So this was a new place for me, and there's this one neck reel that sits in this room. I don't know why he's here. I don't know if he gets trapped over here or if he spawns in here, but I felt kind of bad for him. He was away from his people, so yeah. But with that being said, again, this is a really chill moneymaker. There's really not too much to worry about. Your health, at least at my stats, never really dropped to a low amount. I could always rely on the Guthans to fully heal me back to full health, and yeah, food wasn't an issue here. I also had the lava runes and the nature runes in my rune pouch so that I could alch any drops that I got in my inventory. Since we didn't bring any food or combat potions, we had plenty of space to just hold on to the drops, but I did end up alching most of them towards the end just for that extra magic XP, and because you also get a little extra money from alching the items as well. And speaking of alching, I almost alched the Granite Maul, but I did a price check on that beforehand, and I found out that it is actually worth more if you sell it in the GE, so don't sell or don't alch the G-Mauls. Unless you plan on staying here for a very long time. If you're staying here for like 6 hours at a time, then I guess you can alch it. That 2k really isn't going to make a huge difference. Now, if you plan on paying more attention while you're doing this moneymaker, like if this is your main and this is how you're making money, then you can also flick Piety to get that increase in damage, and you'll be able to kill more gargoyles per hour. But since this was a very AFK method that I was trying out with the Guthans, I didn't activate Piety at all during this video. The 2 prayer points that I lost that you can see there, I'm at 97 out of 99, was just from using Protect Magic earlier in the Aberrant Spectres area. I gotta say, I was pretty impressed with the amount of gargoyles that we were able to kill in this 1 hour with the Guthan setup and all of the other cheap items that we were using. I do plan on making another video like this, but perhaps in max gear, full bandos, abyssal bludgeon, and whatnot, or whatever weapon is best in slot here. I'm not really sure what it is now. But for now, I figured we'd just do the Guthan setup, since I do see a lot of people doing this as a AFK moneymaker on a lot of their alts. And with that being said, we have finished our 1 hour of killing gargoyles, and now we can go ahead and price check all of the loot, all of the smithing items, all the bars, all the ore, the pure essence, which is now valued at 1 GP, which is crazy to me. I don't remember it being 1 GP. But with everything in there, we have a total price check of 476,000 coins, so not bad at all. We can now go to the GE to sell all of our hard-earned loot, and just for the sake of the video, I am going to be selling it for under market price just so that I can get rid of it all quickly as possible. But if you are doing this for many hours at a time, I suggest putting it in there for at least market price or a little above it. That way you can maximize your profits. Again, I was selling everything quickly just because I wanted to not be here for very long, but I was also pretty impressed with the amount of money that we made. From the first price check, we already made more than I thought we were going to make, so I didn't mind putting them in there for under mid price. But with the last of the bars being sold, we have finished, and we can do one final price check, and as you can see, the final price check is close to 469,000 GP, so again, not bad. And now I have gone to somebody's player-owned house to repair my armor on the armor stand, since it is cheaper than going to Bob's Axes in Lumbridge. As you can see here, I am saving quite a bit, and the price of which you pay to repair armor at an armor stand is dependent on what your smithing level is. So since we're maxed out, we get a pretty nice discount. We can now go ahead and factor in the cost of supplies to see how much we actually made. So if we subtract the cost of supplies, which was 14,415 GP, from the amount of money that we made, which was 468,973 GP, we get a grand total profit of 454,558 GP. Not a bad amount, and here it is compared to the OSRS Wiki estimation, which I believe was set to 90 kills, and we were able to get 130. Here is also a look at the XP that we got during this 1 hour. not a bad amount for just AFKing here, and as you can see we also got 3 XP in agility for taking that shortcut earlier, and 650 magic for the alching that we did. And to finish it off, here is the loot tab that we got of all the drops that we got from the 130 gargoyles. I just want to say thanks for checking out the video, and if you enjoyed it, please consider giving it a thumbs up and possibly a subscription. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next episode.